now what the fuck I'm gonna do? Good thing is I got 10% of the company, so I'm like, hey, give me some of that money because I need to buy me another car. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Because I'm not going to get in another car note, which was, like I said, turning lemons into lemonade. Because even though I totaled out my brand new car, you know what I'm saying, I still got another car that I don't have to pay notes on.
You had some options.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, now I see where it's trying to take me. It's trying to, and the only way that you'll be able to allow things to grow and happen for you is by letting go. Letting go of the shit that's not good for you and being okay with it. It's okay to let go of the shit that's not good for you.
All the negative. Anything that's not helping you move forward.
Right.
Anything that's not making you feel good about yourself.
Right.
Anything that's, you get what I mean, that's just not giving you any good energy.
Right. Whether it's a job, whether it's something, whether it's someone,
period.
Whatever it is in your life that's toxic to you.
Toxic. That's just, you know what I mean? Every time you turn around, it's an issue. Every time you turn around, it's all over you. It's one thing after another. And it could just be one thing. You could leave the house. Right. And then several other things happen.
Right.
And it's like,
damn, I should have stayed at home.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you got to fight through that negativity and think about it. Like you said, you blessed. Think about how blessed you really are.
Right. You got to appreciate that shit.
You got to appreciate what you really got going on, regardless of the negative.
Right.
Because the negative will consume you.
Yeah, it can consume you for years. I mean,
yes.
I mean,
True
we
story.
know people that
True story.
Negative shit that then affected them for 10, 20 years, and they still trying to bounce back,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's people homeless on the street. It's over 50% of people homeless on the fucking street, and they want to tell you one number, but see, that's the people that is counted for. What about the people that's not? And life is not meant to be good all the time. Shit gonna happen. That's normal. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
It's normal for shit to happen and for you to learn lessons off of shit that, was fucked up in your life.
But like I've said before, it's not what happens to you. It's how you respond to it.
Right.
What are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
Are you going to shut down? Are you going to fold? Or are you going to let it strengthen you?
Right.
And how fuel do you to move forward?
Pieces? And how do you pick up the pieces?
I want to say for every situation, for everybody, it would be different.
Right.
You get what I mean? So
but
I can't say for them, but I can say for me personally.
Right.
It was, let me evaluate some shit. Like, let me really reevaluate some shit.
Right.
And it was like, I can't. I don't want this no more. You know what I mean? And at that point, it was like, and again, my kids, I ain't got no roof over my kids' head.
Right.
How, you know what I mean? I started kind of chewing myself. How dare me?
Right.
What, you know what I mean? But I was, again, so much shit was going on. I was low-key starting to feel sorry for myself. Low-key starting to feel like, oh my God, woe is me. I can't do this, I can't do that. And I didn't even have a job at the time. You know what I mean? So the reevaluation came when, like I said, I'm just asleep. And I think in my sleep. You know what I mean? I be thinking in my sleep.
Right.
I think sometimes I get a headache. So for me, everything that negative that was going on, it was just like, okay, stop focusing on that.
Right.
What is it that you need to do to get yourself up out of this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And by any means necessary,
yeah,
I did that. Like, I got to remove myself from this.
And that's what we have to this is what we have to understand. Sometimes you do have to remove things in order to make room,
and even if you're uncomfortable
new
with
shit
it,
to come in your life.
even if you're uncomfortable, because
Right.
again, that's me coming from one state to another.
Right.
Even if you're uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And even when I got out here, I still struggled a little bit. You get what I mean? But in my mind, I'm not going back.
Right.
Everything I thought about that was negative. It filled me for energy, for more positive notation for myself. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be back in the same situation out there. Why would
Right.
I go back? So, again, let me reroute some shit,
Right.
figure some shit out. Cause you get what I mean? If anything,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go backwards.
Right.
You get what I mean? That's all negative. That's how I thought. That's all negative. So that's what fueled me. The negative fueled me. Thinking
Right.
about it was like, oh, hell no.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like you really have to take yourself out of that situation. But you got to
Right.
be strong enough to do it.
Well, sometimes, like you say, sometimes it takes for you to ride with no music on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Sometimes it takes for you to be without something, or you know what I'm saying? Like I say, some people have, their epiphanies in jail. Sometimes you got to be separated from everything, the
I had
negative
one in
and
there
the
too.
positive.
Right.
So, but we have to also learn to embrace, what our weaknesses are,
Period.
and overcome those,
Period.
and
recognize them.
like I said, I mean, what you
strategy.
did is, man, I can't even imagine going to another state, just picking up and going to another state with my kids, So, I mean, that's an achievement,
Yes.
But like you say, it's not an easy road when you trying to build success.
And mind you, some of that negativity followed me. You understand?
Right.
Because again, it was my last two children's fathers, so it's like
Right.
it was supposed to be we come out here. My whole thing was we talked about we're gonna leave all the negative, everything that we was going through.
Yeah.
Let's start over.
And that's why when you got back here, you still struggled because you still had that negative energy. It wasn't about being where you was at. It was about that person who you was with, who you had in your life.
But
you know
I still feel like I had to move around from where I was at. I still felt like that.
Right.
But I do understand what you're saying. I still brought a piece. I feel like I still brought a piece of that negativity.
All you did was took a step back. That's what coming out here was. You taking a look back so that you can see the bigger picture, to see where was the fault at. You know what I'm saying? You had to see where the negative energy was coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it took for you to get away from everything else to be able to focus on this motherfucker who now you was the problem. You know what I'm saying? You was the problem. But in order for you to know that he was the problem, you had to be removed from everything else that was distracting you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So now you know not to make that mistake again. And if you take up and you pick up and you move from here to another state, you still gonna be good. You know why? Because you know what motherfuckers to fuck with and what motherfucker not to fuck with. You know what I'm saying?
Sad that it took so long. You get what I mean?
You got two beautiful kids. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So
Hands down. But realistically, I like how you articulated that. You know what I mean?
She still came good up out of
it. And again, for me, the positive was just getting away from everything that I'm used to. Let me make myself uncomfortable, because I feel like when you do that, you go even harder. Because again, I came out here, I'm in a whole different state. So,
a person that don't take chances ain't gonna get nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
And we
You
talked
gotta
about
take
that
chances.
in a previous show.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be scared of life. And you can't
all.
just go through life thinking that shit ain't gonna happen.
And that's the thing. Even when I was young, I never was. I was everywhere.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So even with my children, even though it might make them uncomfortable as well, but nonetheless, no worries, babies. Let me show you how to do this.
Right.
So I figured coming out here, let that negative me die to fertilize the new me.
Right.
To be a better me. So, all that negativity that was going on, and even though I brought it with, you get what I mean, all that negative energy, I promise you I sucked it up and just reversed it.
Right. Right.
Literally just reversed it. And it's been wonderful ever since.
Yeah. And that's what I've noticed too. I noticed when I'm like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Not just fuck it, but fuck it. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
What's next? Shit. Moving forward.
Moving right
saying?
along. You know what I mean? Because once you get that momentum back, it's like.
Right, because it's almost like, okay, well, what's the issue? All right. The issue is this. All right, so I tackle that and then shit. Ready for the next mission, because it's not about shit ain't gonna happen and shit ain't just all fucked up in your life because shit happening in everybody's life. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we have to understand. We gotta keep moving. You know what I'm saying? I had surgery for cancer. I'm back at work 2-3 days later. I lose my son. I'm back at work 2-3 days later.
That's what we do.
You know what I'm saying? It's still, life still goes, and you gotta keep moving, because if you don't, you get left behind.
If you let the negative consume you, it's tragedy. It's just tragedy. Like you say, it's a domino effect.
Right.
It becomes just one negative thing after another.
Yeah. And
because
then
you're allowing
find yourself
that negative shit to just rain on you.
Yeah. And then you see yourself 5 and 10 years later, and you still in the same situation. Exactly. You still crying about the same shit that happened.
That's what I'm saying. You just have to have that epiphany.
At this point, is it the situation that happened that held you back, or is it yourself that was holding you back?
Was I my own worst enemy?
Right.
And those are the things I thought about rolling out here with no music on. Is it really this person's fault?
Right.
Or is it yours?
Man, we got to understand.
All type of shit. You know what I mean? Did you really fail because it was you?
Right.
Or did you allow somebody to do so?
Right. Well, after so long, because that's, in a lot of situations, when you heard about something, the only thing that you can, remedy your hurt with is time, which is the main thing you can't get back. But you can't spend that time negatively. You can't spend that time dwelling on what you've lost.
Exactly.
Because if you're not willing to take a loss on something, you're not willing to take a gain.
Exactly. So when you're thinking to yourself about, well, was it this? But then you got to come back with another positive on something else. But you can definitely turn it into this. Or,
right.
You know what I mean? You gotta talk to yourself. You gotta prep yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
These are the things that you have to do.
Right.
This is how I feel as a woman. You have to do these things. Just like when you look at yourself in the morning in the mirror. Good morning, gorgeous.
Yeah.
You got to prep yourself.
Yeah. That's true.
You have to. So, when you're thinking about all these negative things, always try to think of something that's positive that can counteract it.
Right.
Because if you don't, it will consume you so fast. You'll lose things on a whole other level so fast. Because, again, how fast do dominoes fall?
Exactly. And if you have anything to add, please give us a call at 702-605-4836. We definitely love to hear from you.
Please and thank you. So, far as negative things, just because things are happening to you around you. I just want to say this: things are happening around you. Don't think for 1 second you can't get yourself out of it. Don't